Thank you, Ms. Volka, Mr. Keith, honored guests, parents, teachers, and of course, fellow graduates. I'm very honored to be delivering this speech on behalf of the class of 2016, as we say goodbye to SJR and goodbye to all the wonderful memories that we've shared. In our time here, I think we've all come to realize that SJR simply isn't an ordinary school. Now, a friend of mine who's attending SJR next year came up to me recently and asked me, in your opinion, what's the most incredible thing about SJR? Now, I told him the obvious answer, of course, a Sean we bet his arms. But then I thought a bit more carefully about this question and realized that the most incredible thing about SJR is something less obvious, something that we may not be directly conscious of. The ability of the school to develop and grow, and the ability of the students to take advantage of this growth. For instance, take the new senior school building. Now, when I witnessed firsthand the construction of this building, I learned two things. Firstly, it's really hard to write a math exam when there's pile driving going on 10 feet away from you. But secondly, and more importantly, SJR is incredible at evolving. At SJR, teachers come and go. New students enter the school every year. Everything around us is constantly changing. Yet despite all this change, students manage to succeed through new and unprecedented situations. And often, we aren't aware of this change. And I think part of the reason for that may be the uniforms. Now, these uniforms cover up the change, since they've always been the same. Every single winter, we've been stuck between the exact same grueling decision of either wearing a blazer, which for some reason costs more than a luxury Italian suit, or of course a rash-inducing black sweater, delicately knitted and hand-washed in the tears of children. We see these unchanging things like the uniforms, like the pass to Wednesdays, or even the mice in the basement. And sometimes we don't recognize the immense amount of change within our surroundings and within ourselves. And if you think about it, the class of 2016 in particular has witnessed a lot of change. At our time at SJR, we've seen 2 senior schools, 2 headmasters, 5 principals, and Yemi Fatoy's 15 different alternating hairstyles. Yet through this change, this class has not only managed to adapt, but to succeed. Now, the most notable change we witnessed was within our academics. We saw the difficulty of the curriculum go from 0 to 100 real quick. Kind of the opposite of our actual marks. And with the introduction of laptops in classrooms came the need to resist the temptation to play Tetris battle all class. Probably the greatest challenge of all. But we managed to conquer all these difficulties. And there's no finer example than Alec Ebler, who can somehow spend all of literally every class playing NBA 2K15 on his laptop, but still manage to get 100 on every test. Now, in terms of change, one of the odd things we've noticed in our time here is that it seemed like the practical applications of our courses gradually declined. Now, in junior school, we learned reading, writing, counting, essential skills that we use every day. In middle school, we learned French, social studies, debating, not quite essential, but still pretty useful. And then came senior school, where we learned how to find the derivative of a differential equation, how to find the concentration of acetic acid after an acid-base titration. And I am certain that every graduating student here can successfully analyze Hamlet's tragic flaw. But to be completely honest, I don't think any of us know how to do taxes yet, or what doing taxes even means for that matter. Now, did we complain about the practicality of our courses? Yes, we did, quite a bit. But at the time that we weren't complaining, we studied. We worked hard, and we got George to help us with our chemistry homework. And we know that it will only take a couple classes in university to realize how useful these things actually were. But aside from just academics, we've seen a great deal of change in our extracurricular lives as well. Now, co-curricular activities evolved from after-school clubs where the main goal was to have fun, to competitive groups of students trying to accomplish nearly impossible tasks. Like the math teams winning countless math contests, the varsity basketball team making it to the 4A provincials, or the B hockey team winning one game. Come to think of it, I guess the same thing applies to the A team as well this year. And over time, we've developed new interests outside the classroom, whether it's Justin Shana transforming into a chess grandmaster overnight, or Sam Roach somehow making it on time to every practice for the 23 different sports teams that she's on. This class has never shied away from a challenging opportunity. So it's clear that through these changes, we've had to overcome many obstacles. But we didn't face these challenges alone. Many people helped us along the way. First and foremost, our parents. Our parents supported us through these changes not only by providing financial support, a lot of financial support, but also by always being there when we needed them. When the exhaustion of grade 12 finally caught up to us and we became physically incapable of making it to period 1 on time, it was our parents who had to answer all the 9 a.m. phone calls in the senior school office. But more importantly, our parents supported us when the changes of high school became difficult to cope with, by motivating us even when we felt like we needed to give up. And secondly, it's our teachers, occasionally accepting to curve our tests and boost our marks because, let's face it, no one was ready for AP Physics. But these things are nothing in comparison to the constant support and guidance that our teachers always provided us. Always open to meeting with us hours before and after school. Always serving as wonderful mentors, and always doing everything to make sure we succeeded. This truly helped us overcome difficulties and gradually adapt to new situations. And finally, but most importantly, each other. Now, as a class, we often feel a need to define ourselves based on how others perceive us. What are we? The smartest class? No, that was probably last year's graduating class. The most good-looking class? No, that was obviously whatever year Mr. Stanier graduated. The class of 2016 isn't defined in one particular way, and I think that's what gives us our true diversity. Because rather than caring about how others perceive our entire collective grade and treating us like we're all the same person, we recognize our differences as individuals. And because of this, we managed to work together and take advantage of these differences. And even when tensions are high and the grade is divided, we still find a way to come together and overcome difficulties. Because, let's face it, when you spend years in one building with the same 100 kids in some isolated corner of Wildwood with no phone service, basically no Wi-Fi, and about a 5-minute drive from the nearest sign of civilization, you get to know one another pretty well. So, from junior school all the way to graduation, we've all encountered a significant amount of change. But this change is nothing in comparison to what we are about to face next year. As we depart from SJR, we leave the comfort of the place many of us call home. We leave the friendly faces of our teachers, and we leave the support of our fellow classmates to learn independence and to manage by ourselves. Well, except for the 20 of you going to U of T, of course. Unfortunately, we have nothing to be afraid of. This class has shown that not only can we cope with change, but we can succeed and grow through change. And that's precisely the greatest thing about the class of 2016. Because rather than letting change hold us back, we've managed to take advantage of it. New students became best friends. New classes helped us determine our future paths. And new timetables may have not been great, but at least we got to sleep in once in every 8 days. And the importance of these skills extends further than just next year. For the rest of our lives, we will need to come face to face with change. The simple truth is, we live in a world that changes at a constant rate. And as we enter this world, I'm confident that with the skills that we've developed at our time at SJR, we should all be looking forward to the changes yet to come. In the words of the famous poet and philosopher, Tupac, I love to go back to when we played as kids, but things change, and that's the way it is. We had fun, we shared wonderful memories, but now it's time to move on to a new challenge. A challenge at which I'm certain we will all excel. Thank you.